Voices from the Mausoleum is brought to you by the You Run Podcast Network and yourunpodcast.com.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Voices from the Mausoleum, and welcome to another episode of 5 Influential Horror, which is going to be a little bit different today. Today, I am finally joined by the Scariest Cut, which is Matt and Tom. Thank you guys for coming on. I'm super excited to finally have you on the channel.
Very welcome.
Yeah,
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, of course. So we're going to do, instead of top fives, we're going to do 3 influential horror. So Matt has 3, Tom has 3, and we're just going to go back and forth and talk about those. If you're not familiar with the Scariest Cut, I'll put a link to their YouTube channel and their socials in the link in the description for this episode, so you'll be able to go subscribe and follow along with their stuff. I don't know how much it's changed since you guys started, but currently it's, Scariest Cut being like scariest moments. You guys have done some franchise moments recently. And it's just a lot of really, really cool conversations about horror movies. Was it like this when you guys first started, or has it changed a little bit?
Oh, God. It was a lot different, Angel. So much different.
Yeah, we started in 2019 doing shorts. We did a werewolf short called Hit and Run.
Yeah.
And then yeah, the lockdown happened and we were like, well, we can't see each other. So what do we do? So we actually all filmed separate shorts by ourselves, and those were fun. But
That's
then
cool.
Eventually, when we had our little bubble, we were like, we still want to talk horror, and we keep evolving. It keeps changing.
Sure.
We did it. We did a podcast, then we did another show, the Hap Horror Show. Then we totally rebranded to the Scariest Cut, and then
we're
doing all kinds of stuff. So we love it.
Yeah. Content is all about adaptability. You just have to change and do things that make you happy. Yeah, so I know I specifically talked about it when I did the franchise live this past summer, but I think Tom sent me, was it you that sent me the movies, the Nightmare on Elm Street movies?
Yes.
Yeah. So I put this thing out on Twitter and I was like, oh, is there anyone that would trust me with their movies? I've got to watch all of these for a conversation. I don't want to rent them. And you were like, sure, I'll send them to you. And I thought that was so nice. They got back to you in one piece, which is the important thing. But,
Thank you.
Yeah, so you guys are really sweet, and I love your content. Your conversations are always hysterical. You guys have really cool dynamics. So if you're not familiar with them, I highly recommend you go follow them and give them a sub to their YouTube channel. So we're gonna jump into your influential horror and why you picked them. The first one that we're going to talk about actually has not been in this show before, which is kind of surprising. And that's going to be Matt's first pick, which is American Werewolf in London.
Yeah, so this is what I consider the first horror movie I really saw, as far as I remember. I was probably like 6, 8 between there, so it scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
So that was me growing up, but then watching it a few years later, you really start to get that comedy.
Yeah.
Which has become horror comedy when done right, which is not all the time, is some of my favorite stuff, like Shaun of the Dead, Tucker and Dale versus Evil. I also grew up watching Monty Python, so that dry British sense of humor is right up my alley. So that. Also, the fact that I love werewolves now, I think it might have to do with that. I've got a 6-foot-tall animatronic werewolf standing over my bed. And
Shut up! Do you really?
Yeah.
I'm jealous.
Loves it.
I bet, especially in the middle of the night.
It has startled me a few times.
Yeah. I'm also a huge werewolf fan. So this one, I think American Werewolf, I would say in general, is influential to horror as a genre, because it really just kind of set the tone and the standard for, werewolf films in general. Because I think if we've seen it and we're fans of that film, anything that we watch, we're paying attention to the transformation. We're like, is it going to be, especially because it's all practical. It's aged very, very well. It's a great movie. Yeah.
Still one of my favorites.
Your favorite movie?
Yeah.
So that's a good one. I'm very surprised that one has not been on here before, but it hasn't.
Yeah, me too. I'm like, anytime a werewolf movie comes out, it's you immediately have to be like, is it on par with that?
Yeah, that's the bar right there.
Which is funny because it's not even my favorite werewolf design. I usually like the bipedal or the more Wolfman-like thing, but just, the whole movie works so well, and the Jack character and all those practical effects are amazing.
Yeah. I did a like God, I think it hasn't been quite 2 years, but it's approaching 2 years. I did a top 5 werewolf movie TikTok like almost 2 years ago. I still get people pissed off in my comments that this one isn't in my top 5. And it's like it's fine. Like, I mean, I love it. It's would it be like number 6? Probably. Like it's huge. I love it. I think it's great. It has a lot of rewatch value. I'm a big fan of it. But it's just always interesting. People who like that, people who are werewolf fans, just like they don't like when people's werewolf lists are like different from theirs. Apparently, the amount of like negative werewolf movie comments, it's wild to me. But it is a great one. And I think it's, like I said, very influential in general. So I always go back to that one. I watch it at least a couple times a year. So
same.
Yeah.
Which is Also, there's like maybe 6 good werewolf movies.
Maybe.
We don't have much to pick from.
There is.
I'm hoping this year they are remaking Wolfman.
Yes,
got a little hope.
There's they're adapting a book called what's it called? Bad Wolf?
Yeah, I did just read this too.
Yeah.
It was the guy who was supposed to do Scream 7. This is his new thing.
His new thing.
Supposed to do Scream 7?
Oh yeah, he backed out too.
Oh god.
Yeah,
But,
yes,
hey, more werewolves.
it's a book though, so it'll be an adaptation. But I'm like, I want all of the werewolves. I'm like, we need more of it everywhere. Horror books, horror graphic novels. Like I need it in movies. I want TV. I want just more of it in general, especially like monstery ones over like ones that just look like wolves you see in the wild. Yeah,
I've never liked the just turning into a wolf thing. I'm like, it's not as effective.
No, I don't know.
But yeah, the whole idea, like the curse and everything, is just such a fascinating, like taking an innocent person who has to deal with this. Another thing, American Werewolf in London, like that ending is not a happy ending.
No.
And then they immediately punch you though with that song.
Yeah, it's like abrupt and then it's just over. Yeah. It's pretty effective ending, definitely. Did you see the wolf movie Cursed? It was supposed to be called 8 for Silver in the festivals, but they changed it when it went to theaters.
Yeah, I did go check this out in theaters. What was that, 2022? Yep. I loved that movie. It was like great.
I really did too.
Yeah. And like it just got no attention. Because like
I was gonna say we're in the minority. The people I know that have at least heard of it didn't like it.
Yeah, which is weird. I'm like, it has a weird twist on werewolves, but like I love all the like lore that they put in there, and period pieces are always really well done. So
yeah, it's definitely original Wolfman and like with some new stuff to it, because it's obviously heavily influenced by that, but it was definitely pretty unique. I liked it.
Yeah, really good.
Yeah. So Tom's number 1 is Nightmare on Elm Street, which now makes perfect sense why you just happen to already have all of these and
right. Yeah, I love the whole franchise. I know not every movie is super strong.
Sure.
The third one's actually my favorite.
Mine too.
Yeah, it's probably tied with this one, but I don't know.
Yeah.
There's something menacing about him in this movie.
Yeah.
Just the feel of it. The music is some of my favorite music from horror.
Yeah.
I could whistle that all day. All day. Yeah, I don't know. It's just, the creepy boiler room, just the whole atmosphere is fantastic. I don't know if that makes me weird for liking this guy that like kills children and goes after kids, like I don't know. I think about that sometimes. I'm like, why do I like Freddy Krueger so much? Like this guy is evil, right? He's godlike and he like plays with his prey, right? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
He's like a cat.
He's a dark one, which is probably why he ended up becoming way more comedic.
Yeah. I don't know, but they should
be like, let's soften the kid stuff.
I don't know. I love it all. His look, right, is iconic. The glove is iconic.
Yeah.
Everything. I love it all.
Can't wear a red striped sweater anywhere.
No. That's
Ugly
true.
Sweater party. Yeah, there's just so many things I love about A Nightmare on Elm Street. So that's definitely at the top of my list. That's tied for like my favorite movie of all time, favorite horror movie. My other one is on this list, so I'm not going to say it yet. Won't spoil it.
Okay. Yeah, I was super late to Nightmare on Elm Street. I didn't see it when I was younger. It was something that I didn't see until I was, this may upset you. The first like the first Nightmare on Elm Street movie wasn't even that I saw wasn't even an Elm Street movie. It was Freddy versus Jason.
It's still a good movie.
It's fun.
I guess I would say fun more than good.
It's
but-
Yes.
definitely more fun.
Yes. But other than that, like it was, I will say this, it did make me go back and watch at least the first one. I had seen before I watched the ones that you sent, I had seen for sure that I remembered the first and the third one. I knew those, I know Dream Warriors very well. Like those were the ones I remembered. And then after I rewatched them all, I do remember seeing 2 at some point, but I had not seen any of the other ones in the franchise. None, not one time. So it was a franchise. I was super late to the game.
Yeah, I kind of grew up in the 80s, and those movies were on, on cable, so I would watch them, and they would just like seep into my soul. I'm like, I love it. I love it. I want another one. I would love for them to redo it, especially with CGI and what they can do nowadays. I think now would be a great time to do it. I know Robert Englund isn't going to do it. He could do a voiceover or something, which would be
maybe
awesome.
a cameo.
Yeah, a cameo or something.
Yeah.
I would love to see that.
Did you like the remake?
No! No, Angel!
I didn't think so.
They could have made that
Sensitive
awesome.
subject.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell.
They had a chance to like go in a direction that would have made it awesome. But instead, they just stuck to that. Like he's just really sick with the children aspect. I'm just like,
it took that even further. Yeah.
And I'm like,
and they almost had that good little twist of maybe he's an innocent guy.
Almost felt for him.
Yeah. And then they're like, nah, he sucks. And it's like, oh, what the fuck?
I thought the same thing. When they start doing that back and forth, when I first watched it, I was like, no way are they going to make him actually, that's going to make so many people mad. There's no way they're going to actually make him innocent. And then not only does he end up not being innocent, but it ends up being like, they like dive right into the other stuff too, that it was not maybe touched or like hinted at or super subtle.
Then.
Yeah. They always hinted at it with the other films, right? But they didn't really talk about it. He was like a child murderer. And I was like, I'm okay with you killing kids. Kill them. That's fine.
Yeah. But the other's too much.
It is way better for some reason.
I'm inclined to agree.
Yeah, I'm like, I can like him as a child murderer. Anything else?
He can still be funny while he's killing kids. That's
what I'm saying. It's twisted. It's sick. I don't know why I like it so much. I'm sorry. It's just, I don't know. He gets funnier.
He does.
It gets better.
It doesn't get much better.
Anyway, that's enough.
No, I think it's like you're in like conversations about horror movies. It's not really that strange to people that are in the genre already. Where I mean, like I get people who question it about me all the time. Like it's like, oh, like you have stuff like on your desk for Halloween. It's like it's gonna be here year round. Like you should probably just accept it and move on. Yeah, it's just part of being in the genre.
Cheers to that.
Yes. Yeah. But yeah, that's that. Like I said, I was super late to the game on Nightmare, but I still like 1 and 3. I do think 2 is probably one of the strongest sequels to a franchise I've probably ever seen. 2 is so good, but after 3, it got a little off the rails for me, and I wasn't a super big fan of the rest of them.
Fair enough.
And I don't think I've watched all of them.
I got them, but I'll let you borrow them next.
Yeah, some good ones.
Yeah, so Matt's number 2 is The Thing.
Yeah, this is another one of my favorite, top 5 easily.
Perfect movie.
It is maybe the perfect movie. Like if 10. It wasn't for my werewolf thing, this probably would be number 1. Like American Werewolf like brought practical effects to another level. And like it's like the reason why there's a special effects award. That was at least the first movie to win it.
Yeah.
This movie, which is so weird to me when this came out, was like no one liked it. Like it was critically
bombed. Yeah,
it bombed in theaters. Like critically, it was panned. I mean, it was the same year as E.T. Well, so I guess a little bit different aliens here, but
about that. Yeah.
But the effects in this movie are, to this day, some of the best stuff I've ever seen. Like it's amazing, and then it also that element of like the whodunit kind of thing. Like, I love a whodunit. Like the Scream movies are always fun, but like this has a whole nother level to that.
Yeah.
So like on rewatches, it's like you're looking for the little cues of like, and the way they filmed it all, it works very well. Where it's like, is it him? And there's so many iconic scenes. I don't like dog harm.
Yeah.
This is the one movie I give a pass to because it just kind of makes the dogs cooler. That's how I like to think of it.
All right.
I gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, but like that, the blood test scene and stuff, like that stuff
So
has always
good.
stuck with me, and it's just so iconic.
It's a great
Yeah.
watch. Every time you
Yeah.
watch it, it's always a great watch.
It's one of those I can watch it like a couple times a year and be like, this is just such a good movie.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I think the other
other-
thing for the thing specifically that works so well for me, especially as I've gotten older on like revisits and stuff, is like that true nature of like they do such a great job of like framing these relationships between people where you're like, oh, these are people we love and we trust and we're buddies with and we're laughing with and we care about. And then it's like the moment shit hits the fan, you're like, I don't trust any of you anymore. And that's such a human thing to do. I feel like it just be like, nope, not worth it. Like, and then this constant paranoia and distrust between people that we just saw, 20, 30 minutes before were like best friends. And now they're just like, they're like at each other's throats over stuff. And I think that's like such a realistic approach to a situation like this, that it kind of just gives you that whole, like, you're trapped with people that you're not necessarily safe with. And that just makes all of the other stuff more effective.
Oh, yeah, it's the same thing if you bust out a Monopoly board in family night. Like, you're going to realize real fast you don't like each other, you don't trust each other.
That's true. I don't even go to people's houses that own Monopoly. So I think, yeah.
I'm sadistic. I enjoy Monopoly.
Yeah. I hate, actually, the only game I think I hate as much as I hate Monopoly is Uno. I think that's the only other one that I can't.
I love Uno.
Yeah,
That's
there
one
it
of my
is.
favorite games because I'm sick.
Yeah. My 5-year-old's a big fan. I am not. He wins every time we play, and not because I let him. It's super annoying. Not a fan.
Sounds like Tom.
Draw four, bitch.
He is ready.
Yeah.
When my best friend and I play another card game called Phase 10, when we get towards the end and it's just the two of us playing, and she can tell I'm getting like irritated, she'll be like, what card do you need? She trade cards in the middle of the game just so I don't get pissed off and give up.
Let's try to keep this fun. I want to beat you still.
Yes. Yeah. So Tom's number 2 is Hellraiser.
Yeah, I love Hellraiser.
Like all these dark characters.
I do love, there's something very dark about this movie too, in a different way, right?
Yeah.
It's very macabre. It's almost got like that gothic feel. It's
Yeah.
almost taboo, right?
Mhm.
Like growing up, it was just very interesting to watch. Especially those young years. It's very, it kind of like makes you think about life and what you're taught. And I don't know, it's just a very interesting concept. This is this one little family, and you got this wife who's married, and she's got a thing for, her husband's brother. And then her husband's brother comes back in this awesome looking practical effects scene, which
Yeah.
I love. I love that scene.
Yeah.
It's so gory. So there's some good gore in here.
Oh
And
yeah.
obviously, Doug Bradley, his presence is just,
Yeah.
it's so heavy when
Yeah.
he's on film, and his voice, and it's just so cool. It's just so freaking cool. Clive Barker did such a great job. Music's good in this, but not as like, I love John
Yeah.
Carpenter. I think he's probably the best when it comes to music. Love
Yeah.
Nightmare, but all these films just have certain tones, and I don't know, just it's a vibe, man. It's a vibe. That's all I can
Vibe.
say. There's something about it.
Hellraiser's a vibe. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, a lot
I
of
think-
leather.
I think like being in like calling Hellraiser a vibe is a little like probably worse, right? Than like what you were just saying about being into Nightmare. Like, it's so weird that it's bad at saying things. And you're like, but Hellraiser.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. And like, Pinhead's not a bad character. Like, he's not evil.
Sure.
He just comes from hell.
Yeah.
He's not in the first couple of movies. He's not actually
Inevitably, I think
like,
that would make you evil.
well, his purpose is to
I mean, he does punish the Wicked.
Well, there's pain and pleasure, right? So it's that whole pain and pleasure.
The whole,
thing.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but he's got a job to do. He's like Thanos.
Yeah,
He's like,
yes, you can relate to him.
right. It's like that. I just don't necessarily see him as evil. I see Frank as evil in
Yes.
this movie. Like he is the evil one.
Yes.
Cenobite's just there to do a job. It's just as a human being, you're like, oh my God, this is like sadistic stuff. But I'm sure if you were like this demon from hell, this is just normal every day to day stuff.
That's their 9 to 5.
Right?
Yeah,
This
that's
is
their
just your
day
job.
job. Yeah.
This is me sticking up for Pinhead and the Cenobites right now. Probably gonna get some shit for this. But yeah, it's just I don't know. I love it. I love this weird BDSM feel to it, right? It's just like it's weird, but I like weird. I like weird.
It is weird. It's a good weird. Have you read the book?
Never read the book. I have watched pretty much every other film in this franchise, so I would recommend not doing that.
Yeah, Tom likes to torture himself.
See, I'm a little bit like Pinhead. I'm a little bit like Pinhead.
You've almost got the look.
I do, yeah. Seriously, just pop a couple nails in me.
We know your Halloween costume.
I was Pinhead once.
Yeah, that mask does not hold up.
It doesn't.
Oh,
and
no.
I was Freddy Krueger. Yeah, it's all right. It was back in the day.
I
great
have
film.
it, but I haven't read it. So it's on my list, but I haven't read it. Not yet.
Have you seen every film in the franchise?
Yep.
Oh no, you
Sorry.
too?
Sorry. Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Aren't like half of them not even Hellraiser movies? They were just scripts that they threw Pinhead into.
Yeah, they were scripts for, yeah, that's true. They were scripts for other movies, and then they just made them Hellraiser movies. Yeah. Like what's the, is it Hell World, the one with the computer, where it's like, I think it's Hell World. That one was like the one that I really just was like ready to just completely give up. That one was bananas. But I liked the first two, and I really liked the one that Hulu did. I thought that one was really well done. It wasn't as like over the top or as gory as I was maybe wanting or thinking it was going to be, but I thought overall what they did with it was far better than a lot of the things that came after the first two originally. So
Agreed.
100%.
Yeah, I loved the new look of the Cenobites. I love the leather look, but like taking that and doing like actual skin clothes was like such a cool idea.
smart.
Yeah, you take on it.
Yeah, and I don't remember if they did this in the in any of the originals or the sequels or whatever, but like also having those pins in them as details, like that are connected to the priestess in this one. Like I thought that was really clever. I don't remember if that was something that was a detail in the original or the ones that followed, where it had like one of Pinhead's pins in them somewhere. I don't know if that was a thing or not.
There is one film where he takes the pin out and it like coils out of him, and it's really gross looking.
Oh, okay.
You can do that, but
yeah. But they just kind of made it part of the look in the Hulu one, so I thought that was pretty neat. I liked it. I thought it was a little underwhelming, but I still thought, given what my expectations were, it kind of surpassed those. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, same. Agreed. But yeah, I'd recommend Hellraiser to any horror fan or upcoming horror fan. Definitely check it out.
Do you know how old you were the first time you saw Hellraiser?
No, that was a million years ago. I can't remember that far back.
So little, you think? Like under 10?
Yeah, I was probably within 1 to 10.
Yeah, 1 to 10.
1 to 10.
No.
Yep. That's why I am the way I am, Angel.
He came out. It was on TV.
Yeah, my first memory of life is horror, so I think it's a lot of our stories, and the people that love the genre have very similar stories of watching stuff like probably way before we were supposed to be watching it. But that's
Yep.
Then you get you get used to it, and then you can watch the crazier stuff. Or if you're Tom, I guess you start out on the crazy. You just go from there.
I'm so desensitized.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last movie that scared me. It's sad.
Scared? Yeah, no. Some things actually from last year had me cringe a bit.
Cringy
with
is one
gore,
thing.
which usually does not happen with me.
Yeah, cringy is one thing. Being scared, I think, is another. I don't know. Scare me. Thrill me.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes I'll still run up the stairs when it's dark. That's just my own mind, though.
Yeah, I have a real life fear of the dark. So I do things like that anyway. If the room is dark, I don't look. I just put my arm in it until I can find the light and turn it on. But that's just fear of the dark. And it's probably because I started watching this stuff when I was really young and it just stuck. So it's weird that you said that about like stuff not scaring you, because I was just talking to a friend of mine today about the fact that like it's so hard to get genuinely scared. Like jump scares get me sometimes. That's not really what I mean. But like stuff that makes me like really uncomfortable, or after I watch it, I have to watch like Futurama or something happy, like break it up, you know, before I go to bed. Or and I think the last one that did that for me, and it still wasn't like overly scary, but it just made me uncomfortable when I thought back to it, was The Bone Woman. That one was really good. And it like that came out last year, or yeah, I think it was last year, 2023.
Yeah, it was last year.
Yeah. And that one was, there's some scenes in that just like really made me uncomfortable as far as like the movements and stuff. But yeah, it's so hard to get scared at anything. I'm usually just enchanted with it, or I hate it, or it's usually a different type of feeling.
Yeah, that's one I've heard about. I have not seen yet though.
I haven't seen it. Gonna watch it right after this though.
He will.
Yeah, it's super good. I'll be curious what you think. I really liked it. A lot of people were talking about it, which is one of the reasons I was like, yeah, okay, sure. Scariest movie ever, that kind of stuff. But then I watched it, and it takes a little bit, and then it starts picking up, and it was actually very, very, very good. Like I really liked it a lot. So you have to let me know what you think when you watch it.
Nice, we'll do.
So Matt's number 3 is actually one of my influential movies, which is Saw.
Yeah, so this one was this hit at the perfect time for me.
Yeah.
This was what, 2004, so I was like 13. So like this was the type of stuff I was looking for. That
this is what he was into.
That like push the limit. I'm into horror. I'm like, I want to see some gross stuff, which is funny looking back at the first Saw. Like we did a top 5 thing for that, and we're like, this movie is not, I don't know how like what came in the future came from this movie. It's not that gory. Like there's a lot of the torture, but like there's nothing like super intense in this first movie.
It was the torture aspect that people didn't like, right? It made them uncomfortable.
But like when you get to like part 4 and 3 and stuff, like you're some of the shit in that is, like that's where the torture porn stuff came from.
Yeah.
But yeah, this movie actually led me to watch what is one of my favorite movies, which is Seven.
Oh,
and like if I had never seen Saw, I don't know if I would have ever gone back and watched, because clearly I was 6 when 7 came out.
This is funny.
So never would have seen that, but like
yeah,
I love like a good detective story.
You should watch the Hellraiser sequels.
I've seen parts of them. I don't need to. I love a good detective story, and Jigsaw as a character is a very interesting character. And saw X coming out recently, bringing him back. I mean, Tobin Bell's what, 80 now?
You did great,
and he nailed it.
God,
they do, because when they took him out in the third one, it was like, where are you going with this?
Yes, I totally thought the same thing. Yeah,
they still somehow managed to do 7 more movies. Not the best, but they tried. And I enjoyed Saw X. I'm looking forward to the new one. But it gave us one of the modern day icons. Like there's very few. I know like Art the Clown is starting to become a new horror icon. And besides him, I'm like, we have Jigsaw and maybe Sam from Trick or Treat, like our new horror icons. I guess the new Pennywise is also everywhere too, but I'm like, it's based off of something else. But yeah, Jigsaw, just that whole, traps too. Like the traps are so like, it's so creative. Even though some of the times you're like, there's no way he could have actually thought this all through.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I was 14, maybe 15 when this came out. 14. And I remember I didn't get to see it until my dad actually rented it for us to watch. And I remember watching it, and like I was sitting on the couch, and I remember, like, I'll never forget this feeling probably as long as I live. But like that moment at the end when he got up, I like slid off the couch onto the floor. Like I was just like, 14-year-old me was just like, I couldn't even I couldn't process fast enough what I was seeing on screen because he was there like the whole time. Like, what do you mean? Like, as he gets up. And it's just like, it's one of the first times I actually saw the movie Seven before I ever watched Saw. And it was more of like a realization that like those were even films that I was interested in because, you know, I grew up on like, my dad's like a big sci-fi junkie. So like I grew up with like Planet of the Apes. We watched all the original monster movies. I grew up on like cheesy horror, like stuff that's old or stuff that's kind of like silly. And so like, as I got into my teenage years, I started getting into more like what I guess we call like serious horror, where it's like, it just pushes the boundaries a little bit differently. And Saw is just one of those that like really just cemented my love for the genre. And I'll be honest with you, I don't hate a single movie in the Saw franchise. I just have some that I don't think are that great, but I don't hate any of them. I think the first three make a great trilogy, and I loved X. I thought X fit perfectly right between, you know, 1 and 2. You know, the dynamic between him and Amanda, seeing Amanda actually struggle with this, because we just see her go from like one extreme to another. And it's really cool getting to see her be like, oh, like she, you know, she was kind of out of her element. And it was really good. I'm stoked I will be butts in seat for, you know, for 11. Like I will 100% go see that in theaters when it comes out.
Oh yeah, completely.
Yeah. I think that's probably my favorite movie from 2023. I just wasn't blown away this past year with newer horror. So that's probably like one of my favorite things that came out last year, I think, was Saw X.
Yeah, it's definitely up there for me.
Yeah.
It's a great franchise. It's one of those that's just somehow it's easy watching. You could just throw it on and like kind of have it on the background and be like, oh yeah, that's cool. But at the same time, yeah, people are getting like the worst torture ever.
You guys are sick, okay? I like make-believe characters. You like real people doing really bad things to human beings.
They deserved it.
They deserved it, right? It's
some of them definitely did not, but
no, they didn't. The last in X, they deserved it.
Oh yeah, they did.
Yes.
That's what I liked about it.
I think they finally realized like he's just killing some people because they didn't work out.
Yes, the insurance one was a good one too. When he got the insurance people or the insurance guy that like denied him, and like wouldn't do anything. I think it's a dangerous line because Saw really goes back and forth of like making you forget that John is essentially like not a good person, like because you end up feeling sorry for him and you feel bad and you're like, yeah, you know, they deserve that. It's like when I went into X, I was like, just kill everybody. Like I'm good with it. It doesn't even matter. I'm on your side. And it's a weird line when you're talking about a horror villain because that's what he is. But sometimes he's like an anti-hero. He kind of comes in
a little bit. Which is crazy when you think,
Pinhead.
Yeah,
like
it's crazy when you think the first movie, he's not in it. He's in it for like a minute total. He's got that one ending scene, and then second movie comes out, everyone loves him. Like Tobin Bell just nailed that character.
Yeah, and the budget for the first one was so low that like he really is. The scenes where he's on the floor, he's laying there. Like that's very real. Yeah. And they didn't have money for like a fake or to figure out something to put in after and post edit. Like it was him hanging out on the floor, like probably freezing to death in that small room. But
I think all their money on Carrie Elways.
Yes, that's where all the budget went. That's probably true. Yeah. So Tom's number 3 is very different from his other 2, which
sure is. I'm really
Dead.
I'm a well-rounded human being. Okay. And this is me, you know, the softer side of me, of Tom. Yeah. This is my favorite horror film.
Okay.
This is something I can rewatch constantly. And that's kind of what I think when I think about a great film, like rewatchability.
Yeah.
There's just so many cool elements to this. You know, just how they filmed it. It still has an indie feel. It was what, $3.5 million budget. Still a lot of money, but it's just the way they film it. It still feels kind of indie at times. I like the claymation stuff. I think it's just fun. It's really campy. I think you know, Bruce Campbell just nailed that character. He made this film, in my opinion, better than the first Evil Dead. I know this is kind of like a requel of the first one, right?
Yes.
Like I get all that, but
Is this the first requel?
yeah, maybe.
Kind of, yeah.
But I think he's so funny. I love the gore. There's some good, sound design in this film as well.
Yeah.
It's just great. I don't know. Just everything about it is just from start to finish. Not too long. It's at 84 minutes. That's what I like in a film. 84 minutes.
That's great number.
It's a great number.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's one of my favorites.
Oh, yeah, we've said like Evil Dead franchise in general is like probably the best franchise to us.
Yeah,
because I also love the Evil Dead movies.
All of them.
Yeah, I'm like I lean towards one. I think that was also the first one I saw, but it's such a Bruce Campbell is just such a great character.
Yeah, he really is. He's like so campy and he's great in this. It's just his facial expressions. You got the chainsaw arm, like
and what Sam Raimi would go on to bring us, like Spider-Man and stuff.
Yeah.
Which is weird to think about. Yeah. I went into, so I only ever saw Army of Darkness. Like I didn't even know there were other movies until I was in my 20s. And then they were on like, well, God, back then it was probably Netflix. I think that was like the only streaming thing that really existed so far. Like I watched the first two and I remember going into the second one and being like utterly confused. I was like, why are we back here? What is happening? Like I didn't have anything no point of reference for it whatsoever. And so I went into it and I was like, I thought this was like a second one. It was very confusing for me. It's the first time.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he was the chosen one, right? You see it in the Necronomicon, which is another cool thing. They bring us the Necronomicon.
Yes.
And I love how in Evil Dead Rise, how now there's 3 of them, right? It's like such a cool little backstory there. The Deadites they're fun. I love the Deadites. I hate zombies. I'm not a zombie fan.
Okay.
These are kind of like zombies.
I do like this, like each one has like you can change it constantly.
Right.
Like each demon has like a different personality and that kind of stuff. And you could just keep doing it.
Yeah.
Because even the show gave us like so much more characters and stuff.
Yeah, show's great. Yeah, strong franchise. Love this movie. It's at the top for me.
Yeah, I actually haven't seen the show. I am like super, super hard to get to watch anything that is known as being comedic when it's horror. It's like it has to be like a very specific line. But and so like while I thought these movies were fun, the first 3, the last 2 I wouldn't necessarily say I thought were fun, but because they're a little more serious. But they're not ones that like I was in a hurry to see initially because I was like, I'm not really into like horror comedies. But I think what they were able to do, especially when you give like what went into the first one and how it came to be and all of the things that kind of went around making it into, and then Evil Dead 2 and then Army of Darkness. I have a lot of respect for the franchise and I know it's influential for a ton of people. Like people genuinely just have a lot of respect and love for this franchise. And then I didn't really start to love it until I saw 2013. That was the one that really just kind of, I don't know, like, and it's obviously very different to me. For me, it's like, it's way more serious. I felt like the story was way more believable, but it's such a different tone. But then it also still had like over the top gore, these like really crazy scenes. And then that made me excited to go see Rise, which I think to date has one of the best opening sequences in a horror movie I've ever seen. That title card is like, oh my God, it was great. I was not ready for the drone part that like really threw me for a loop. But no, it was really good. I didn't like that one as much as 2013. Just there are some things that like I think that one of the things I don't like about possession films is I don't like when the people that are possessed talk too much, because the more that they talk to me, the sillier they sound and they're not as scary. And so like when like the daughter is like, oh, my tummy hurts, I was like, I'm out. Like I can't take this serious when they're saying such silly things like in that weird, demonic voice. And it's like sometimes less is more. So that kind of took me out of it a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I hope they do more with the franchise. I've come to really, really appreciate them. And I really like 2013 and Rise a lot. So I'm excited to see what else. And I guess I need to watch the show at some point. It's done, right? Is it finished?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's only 3 seasons. I will warn you, the comedy is much
Oh.
heavier in the show.
Yeah, it's more like Evil Dead 2.
Yeah.
Like it's very
It's
campy.
very
and-
Bruce Campbell, over the top
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
but it's
Yeah.
definitely a fun watch.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. We saw Rise, and this is why I mean this is like such a good franchise. Rise is probably our least favorite in the
Yeah,
franchise, but
yeah.
we still really enjoyed the movie.
Oh.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, 2013, I thought knocked out of the
Oh,
park.
so
Like
good.
that is the
So
ideal remake. Like
It is.
you took something that was a cool idea and just
Mhm.
did it differently, but so well done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Agreed.
Mia is one of my favorite Final Girls. I think the story for that one, like one of my like least favorite horror tropes is when there's like this character that all the other characters have known. Like they know them. They know they're sane. They know they can trust the things that they say. And then something bad happens to them and nobody believes them. And I'm just like, that drives me crazy. But in 2013, they made her a recovering drug addict.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, of course you're not going to listen to her. And just adding that like one tiny, not so tiny, like bit of story changed how effective the rest of the storytelling was. And it just made it way more believable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, American Werewolf in London, Nightmare, The Thing, Hellraiser, Saw, Evil Dead 2. The interesting like combination of films.
So
We're
solid.
all over the place.
Think of the directors there, right? Clive Barker, Wes
Yeah.
Craven,
Carpenter.
John
Landis, Carpenter,
Oh my God, so good.
James Wan.
Good. I
Oh.
mean, I respect him.
Yeah, he's one of the biggest in horror right now.
Yeah.
Not that I like all of his movies, but
Yeah. And then now he's merging, or he's going to be with
yeah, him and
Blumhouse.
Blumhouse.
maybe he can show them how to do PG-13 horror, because right now they are
Yeah. We did
watered
not pick out
down.
Night Swim, but I have not heard good things.
You can't do PG-13 horror. That's the thing.
You can.
Yeah, it's gotta be-
technically.
You can do PG horror and have it be like a cartoon or something, right? Like Coraline. I don't know.
PG-13 or bad. I can't think of any.
Poltergeist
That
is
was a rating.
I was gonna say, did they even have PG-13 then?
No, that was before they added, they changed it to PG-13. For me, my PG-13s are always Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, The Others,
One.
1408. Those are all PG-13 horror films.
that's a good one.
Yeah, I'm an advocate for PG-13 horror. I just am not an advocate for Blumhouse PG-13 horror because they
Yeah.
lean into the younger crowd. And so then those of us that are not that age, it's very like FNAF is obviously like one of the more recent ones, at least that I've seen. And I was super disappointed with how PG-13 it was. Because we've seen PG-13 where you can push the boundaries, you can push it to make it more. And they just like didn't. And they're like, yeah, that's on purpose. We're not going to do that. I'm like, I hate you guys. Like, I
Yeah, but do it.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. If you push it, now it's in the R rating, and that's what you want. You want R. Sorry, kids. Grow up.
Yeah. My only like has to be rated R, or I can't go for it, is like possession films. I feel like PG-13 possession films are bad news. Like you can't do a possession film any justice if you're limited with a PG-13 rating. I just can't
Yeah, I
see
think I'm all set on possession films for a little bit right now.
it. Fair.
I feel like the last like 10 years, it's constant.
We got two really good ones
I
last year.
know, that's what I mean. So I'm good right now.
We got two really good ones.
We got
so
2 good ones. I'm okay.
Talk to me.
Talk to
was
me, and then When Evil Lurks.
Yep, that was the second.
Oh, When Evil
Those two
Lurks
are-
was super good.
Yeah. And like
Yeah.
those were fun twists though onto possession movies and like done well.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right. So now we could take a break. Give me
Yeah,
more
'cause-
werewolves.
More werewolves.
Yeah, more werewolves. The Pope's Exorcist that also came out last year, and that was
Yeah,
not.
I've not
super
seen
good.
that one.
It's if you've
Don't-
seen any
don't
other
do it.
possession movie, you've already seen it. It's very cliche.
Oh,
Nothing
The
different.
problem, they're all just like they just
Blah.
have a list of things they have to nail.
Yep. Check.
And
Okay.
it's
There we
like
go.
they don't even try.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
not good. That was such a shame, man. You're gonna use the Exorcist name, right? Like, come on. What are you doing?
I know. And Russell Crowe is great. Like I was nervous because it was a possession film. I was like, oh, it's gonna be the same stuff over. And so I'll just wait till I can watch it for free.
Oh,
And
God.
then I love him. And I was like, oh, okay, we'll see. And then like 20 minutes in, I was like, oh no, it's the formula. It's the, you know, 1 + 1 is 2. And I was so frustrated by that. But When Evil Lurks talked to me was really good. And then the other one that came out several years ago now, gosh, a while ago now, that I thought was super unique was The Exorcism of Emily Rose. That's one of my favorites.
I love that movie.
Yeah.
Again, cop drama stuff.
Cop drama.
I guess courtroom drama. Well, that's what The Conjuring 3 should have been.
Tried to do.
Like
and they were like, nope, we're going to go just the same movie again. just more of the Warrens being superheroes.
Being cute, loving each other.
Yep.
Yeah.
Go on camera, James.
Oh, okay.
Let everybody see
James is coming in.
Hold on. Coming in.
Okay.
Coming in hot.
He's invaded.
What was Emily Rose rated?
PG-13.
Yeah, that was a PG-13.
Yes, that's what I thought. So I was
Yeah.
gonna say, so that's the one exception for
All
you.
right. Well, I take it back.
Yeah.
She named a few. Tom's really against him.
Yeah, I mean, I already told you nothing scares me, so it's like you got to go hard.
Yeah,
you can't do that. I don't know.
Yeah, it just depends. I think the biggest thing is when these like big companies, when they make PG-13 movies, they're doing them for the money, because more people will go see it because it's only PG-13. So like the little pain in the ass younger kids, you can tell I'm over 30, like come in and like talk the whole movie, or they take pictures, or they're like talking on the phones, and they're doing all these things. And so like then that makes people like me not go see those movies in theaters, because I can't deal with that. That will irritate me. So I just want to go.
That's immediate, like, okay, I'll just stream this if I want to watch it. Because I think after the lockdowns and stuff, I've had some of like my best experiences in movie theaters, but so many really bad ones. Yeah. Like just people being annoying, and I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Has it gotten worse? I know we were trapped in houses for like a year.
I know. I think, it's been rough like that for a really long time, but it's always worse when you go see PG-13 movies in theaters, like within the first 2 weeks that they come out. It's like I specifically, even though I was like open to going to see the FNAF movie in theaters, I was like, no. I know the people that are going to go see this opening weekend. I'll just watch it on Peacock. It's not worth it, because I'll just get mad. Yeah. Have you guys seen that lion movie? Is it just called Beast with
I know the movie you're talking about. I have not watched it.
I have not seen that. I've seen Beauty and the Beast.
Slightly different.
Yeah.
Well, I think so. First of all, it's rated R for like lion gore. Like it eats a lot of people. And there were, I'm not exaggerating, speaking of people in theaters, there were like 3- and 4-year-old children in there with their parents watching this movie. And I was just like,
thought it was a Lion King.
Oh yeah, I went to see what was it? The first Purge, and the people who sat right next to me had a baby who was crying, and I was like,
that adds to the tension though, right?
Yeah.
Does it?
I was kind of like, do we have a Purge system going on?
Oh wow.
I remember seeing Hereditary, and there was like a 10-year-old. Like
that's a tough movie.
It's a tough one.
That kid probably enjoyed the drive home.
Roll down the window, son.
No. Yeah, I don't understand it. Like my kid is 5, and he watches some horror stuff, but it's very like I watch a lot of stuff first, and he sticks to mostly like monstery things. So like shark movies, which probably for some people are like, oh my God, but he can handle it. It's fine. And then there's like, and then he loves the FNAF movie, like loves it. Gremlins, big Gremlins fan. But like, I'm not taking him to a theater to see shit that adults are at. Like we're going to see Ninja Turtles, Transformers. That's it. We're not going to see any adult movie, any movie that adults are going to be paying $20 to go see. He's not going to. Like, that's not a thing. So.
Oh, yeah, I grew up. My dad let me watch. He would be like, you can watch it. You're probably going to be scared. And half the time I would be covering my eyes, but never would bring me to like the movies.
No, I never saw scary movies in movie theaters. I always saw them rentals when they were on television. That was it.
Well, if you're going to be a bad parent, do it in your own home,
right?
Don't
annoy
public. Don't let other people know that you're doing it.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah,
Sorry,
I'm
Uncle
not
Mike.
surprised. I showed my son Jaws like really too early, but I've not seen it in a long time. And I kind of forgot, like, it is pretty bad. Like, there's a lot of screaming and blood, like a lot. And so I kind of wasn't thinking about it. And so, like, he watched it when I'm not going to tell you how old he is. He was young because he's 5 now. And this was a couple years ago. So he watched it. And that scene when Bruce comes up on the boat, like the scene, when it was over with, serious as a heart attack, he was like, that was a big baby shark. It's just like, okay, maybe not needing therapy. We might be okay.
Yeah.
Also, in case you missed it in the previous video, make sure that you go check out this awesome YouTube channel called Video Tasties. The slogan is protecting the past one VHS tape at a time. These guys do a lot of media stuff. 80s list, top list, physical media, collaborations, anything movie, film related, you can find there. There's some awesome, like tons of stuff for you to check out on their channel. I'll make sure to link them in the description for this episode.
We definitely saw that young. I mean, we're from New England, so Jaws is on every summer.
Sure. Fair enough. All right. Well, cool. Well, I think that's all I had for this this episode of Influential. Thank you guys again for coming on and talking your movies. This was fun.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us. This has been great.
You too, James.
Thanks.
He's in the corner.
Time out. Yeah, so thank you guys so much for hanging out with this episode of Influential Horror. Once again, The Scariest Cut, all of their links to their YouTube and their socials and stuff is going to be in the description for this episode. Highly recommend checking them out. And yeah, we hope you guys have a good rest of your week. Enjoy your weekend coming up, and we'll see you in the next one.